My name is Warren Spector, and I'm the studio director at Ion Storm. Thief Deadly Shadows is the third game in the Thief series, so we're wrapping up a trilogy that Looking Glass Technologies started about a decade ago. But we're also trying to make the game accessible to people who weren't exposed to those first games. We have a user interface that I think anybody can just sort of pick up and play. It's very straightforward. We have a very small tool set, very focused tool set, and a very richly simulated world. So there isn't a lot to teach people about in terms of user interface. So I think that's one thing we've got going for us. We also wanted to make the game a little more forgiving than it has been in the past. The first two games, if you got discovered by a guard, it was, run and hide for a while or give up. And in this game, we've given you more tools, more ways to recover from a failure scenario. So I think all that will help, make the game appealing to a larger audience. The Thief world is so rich and so unique. I mean, it's unlike any other fantasy setting in any form of entertainment that I know of. It's this kind of weird, I don't know, Renaissance meets Victorian. It's not even really medieval, and it's got these all these factions that you can interact with and stuff. And there's a richness there that if people want to explore it, it's there for them. But a lot of people just want to get on with it. Just let me get to the fun. Let me just run around and be a thief. And so we've tried to accommodate those players as well. So a lot of the fiction, a lot of the backstory is contained in books and scrolls. And in overheard conversations that if you want, you really can kind of blast past. You'll miss a little bit, but not much. But in addition, we've added a new feature. City sections are a part of Thief now, where players get to set their own pace. They get to decide which houses they're going to burgle and whether they're going to pick that person's pocket or not. They get to decide how much risk they're going to take, what the pace of play is, what sort of side quests are worth taking, which ones aren't, and so really, feel like they're not just a guy going through missions to save the world, but they really are a thief in a Renaissance meets Victorian sort of world. The big thing in Thief is in previous Thief games is there was a lot of running away and waiting in the shadows while things calm down, and that's fundamentally not all that much fun. There are certainly people who love that aspect, that, oh my God, are they going to find me sort of aspect of the game. But as we try to reach out to a larger audience, what we wanted to do was provide players with more tools for recovery. And we do actually support combat more effectively, especially if you approach combat from the perspective of trying to get yourself in a position where you can be the assassin. Okay, it's still, we don't want it to be a game where what you do is you go toe to toe with the guards and you just hack them to bits. It's not like a shooter. Okay, but if you just use your head a little bit and you attack from the shadows and you attack from a distance and you attack from positions of advantage, which you can get to using your stealth skills, then you can play this game out as the deadly assassin, which was difficult at best in the earlier games. Only the very, very best players could really get through, killing everything that moves. And we want to support players who feel like playing that way. We're not just making an arcade game where you play the radar and call it stealth. We're all about simulating a world and letting you decide how to use the objects and frankly the characters and the geometry in that world to create the stealth experience that you want. We have, thousands of interactive objects that you can throw a plate to distract a guard. You can roll a barrel into a guard to get them out of your way. We're all about letting you use the natural tools, the logical tools in the environment to accomplish goals. And it's not hard-coded. It's not special-cased. It's all built on a physics simulation or a lighting simulation or a sound simulation. So when we started thinking about the third game, we knew we wanted to tell a keeper story, let's put it that way. And this time, the keepers actually pull you back in to help them investigate the meaning of a prophecy. There's the brethren and betrayer who's going to bring about the end of words. What the heck does that mean? It's this sort of, mysterious, frustrating, confusing keeper stuff. That's what they're all about. And as you investigate this, you become the leading suspect for being the brethren and betrayer, the one who's going to bring about the end of the world as they know it. You spend a lot of time being chased by keeper assassins while you're trying to discover who the real brethren and betrayer is, while you're trying to discover who the real villain of the piece is, who may or may not be the brethren and betrayer of prophecy. And at the end of the day, you have to decide the fate of the city, and it really does come down to the player deciding how this world should look after the game is over. I mean, it's kind of magical, actually. There are some big changes ahead for players of the first two games. I think it'll be very special. The end of the game is pretty apocalyptic. The other day we had our first start to finish playthrough, so we're solidly in alpha at this point. And from now until we get shut down and we're told it's time to release to manufacturing, we're tuning the gameplay. That's all we have to do left.